Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you are doing good. In this video we are going to see a problem on slab calculation. Last problem what we saw it was a if else if problem. और हम अभी एक प्रॉब्लम देखने वाले हैं वो वाला स्लैब कैलकुलेशन वाला है. आपके स्क्रीन में क्वेश्चन आ रहा है देखिए. So the class name is Mosaic. It is also a descriptive based and a slab calculation problem. So we are having both aspects here. It is a slab calculation and also a description based question. Description based माने इसमें देखिए आप लोग instance variables, member methods ये सब दिया हुआ है. So we have a void input method to input and store the details of the customers. Details of the customers है B number मतलब बाइक का नंबर, PH number मतलब फोन नंबर, name मतलब name of the customer, days the number of days the bike is taken out on rent and charge है to calculate and store the rental charge. और rental charge कैसे compute होगा, कैसे calculation होगा वो compute method में होगा. Compute method का जो logic होगा that will be based on a slab calculation and the slabs are divided 1, 2, 3. 3 slabs are there. The first 5 days are 500 rupees per day. The next 5 days is 400 rupees per day, and the rest of the days means above that would be 200 rupees per day. And in the void display method, we have to print that in this format. Like we have these headers, bike number, phone number, name, number of days, charge. We have these headers, and below that we have the respective details. Okay, it's a tabular manner. We have to print it in the tabular manner. So let's not waste any time. After discussing the problem statement, let's see how we are implementing that. And after that we will see how we are executing the code in the computer. So the class name was Mosaic. So just as I told in the last video that if no parameters are there in the input box, input parameters are not there in that input method, in the parenthesis no input parameters are there. So that's why, so we have to take the console input. Okay, it's by default and it's it has been implied that we have to take the console input since we don't have any parameters inside the input box. Okay, so import java.io.start I would be using buffered reader, so I have used IO package. IO package contains the buffered reader and respective classes which are required for using the buffered reader object. So the class name is Mosaic, so we have to be very specific and we have to give that class name only. Next we have to initialize the member variables, the instance members. We have bike number, phone number, name, days. Bike number, phone number, we have days. These are all integers. So I am taking all the integers in one line. Okay, that can be done, it's legal. We are defining the data type. The data type is integer. The variable names are B number, PH number, days. And we also have the charge to be as integer. As mentioned in the question, so we have to take that. Charge is also an integer here. Okay, now next we have also a string parameter. The string parameter is a name. It would store the name. Okay, it would be a name. So here we have initialized the instance variables. So also give the command entries. Make a habit of giving command entries because in the board exam you have to give command entries and variable description. So these are the instance variables. So we have declared the instance variables. We don't have a constructor here, so we don't have to do that. But after declaring the member variables, we have to now start working on the member methods. As we know that a class is a user-defined data type. It has state and behavior. The state is defined by the instance variables. The state of the object is defined by the instance variables, and the behavior, how it behaves, how the object behaves, that is being defined by the member methods. The first member method in the question is void input. So first one would be void input. So the task of void input is to take input and store in respective variables. Okay. Since we are using buffer reader to take input, so I have to use this line throws IO exception because using buffer reader and reading the inputs from the console window might throw some input output exceptions. So that's why we have to declare to the compiler that it might throw IO exception, not it will throw, it might throw. We have to declare that. Otherwise we would get a syntax error while compiling that. So then the first task would be creating a buffered reader object because that would be required to take the input. So we are using buffered reader object. So the syntax is new buffered reader The new keyword, you can see this new keyword is used to create an object of a class. This is the data type, this is the variable name, new, then the class name. This is the data type. The class is a user defined data type. So new, after that the class name. Then inside the constructor of the buffer reader, we have to pass a object of input stream reader. So this is also a part of the syntax, so you have to follow exactly. So here we are taking the system.in. So here we are ready with the buffer reader object. After taking the buffer reader object, what we have to do? We have to take the inputs. First input is the bike number, then phone number, days charge, then name. So we have to take the input. So after this, we would start from here. Okay. So first task is to input the bike number. So I am giving a system.out.println like a prompt to the user that enter bike number. Okay. So after user sees this prompt in the console window or the terminal window, the user would enter the bike number. Now that number we have to read from the console window and store it inside B number. So for that, what we have to do? We have to write this code: integer dot parse int r.readline. So we are reading this line, reading the line from the console window with the help of readline method, L caps. Okay, keep in mind L is in capital. रीडलाइन मेथड क्या करता है? रीडलाइन मेथड कंसोल विंडो में एक लाइन को रीड करता है, उसको स्ट्रिंग में रिटर्न करता है, एंड दैट स्ट्रिंग व्हिच इज रिटर्न बाय रीडलाइन मेथड इज बीइंग कन्वर्टेड इनटू अ इंटीजर विद द हेल्प ऑफ पार्स int मेथड ऑफ द इंटीजर रैपर क्लास. ये क्या है? एक रैपर क्लास है. रैपर क्लास क्या है, ये क्या है, ये मैं एक दूसरे वीडियो में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा, पर फॉर द टाइमिंग यू नो दैट इंटीजर, दिस कैपिटल I integer, this class is a class called the wrapper class that encapsulates the functionalities of the methods to manipulate and organize and use this integer data type, this int primitive data type. It's a wrapper that helps us to utilize this primitive data types and work with it. हर primitive data type के लिए एक wrapper class है, ठीक है? डबल के लिए भी है, फ्लोट के लिए भी है और कैरेक्टर के लिए भी है, और भी सारे मेथड्स है उसके अंदर, वो हम एक और वीडियो में डिस्कस करेंगे. तो फॉर द टाइम बिंग दिस बाइक नंबर is being taken input from the console window and stored in B number variable. Same for page number. तो फिर से हम लोग एक prompt देंगे. We will give a prompt system.out.println enter the phone number. And then page number में हम लोग assign कर देंगे same syntax and same code. India.parse int. Parse and int do not have any gap in between, but I is capital, keep in mind. This is the syntax, and Java is a case sensitive language, so caps and not caps would be mattering here. Okay, so we have taken byte number input, page number input, we have to take days and charge also. So charge we will not take input, sorry, charge we are going to calculate in the void compute method. Okay, that is our task to compute. The calculation would be in the compute method. So we will take days and then name. Now I am giving here dot dot dot. That means here we are writing system.out.println. Println method is there. So for shortcut I am writing here because lack of space. So now we would enter the days. Now after that I would take the days as input. Now so far what we have done, please take a screenshot or write the code. I am pausing here for 2 seconds. You take a screenshot and write the code. I would erase, and then I would carry on, continue my work. So far what we have done, we have taken the class name as mentioned in the question. We have taken the instance variables as mentioned in the question. We are writing the void input method. That is the first behavior or the first method of the program which takes input and stores the respective details inside the respective instance variables. Okay. Now next what we are going to do, we are going to store the days. Okay, I am rubbing this part. Okay, so I am rubbing this part. Now what we are going to do, enter the days. Now days would be taken as input. I am writing here continued. Okay, so now days would be equals to integer.parse int, right? The same code, integer.parse int r.readline. So we are taking the input and then we are converting that to integer and storing it in days. After that we have to take the name as input. So again we have to give a message to the user that enter the name. And then we have to store that inside name variable. Name equals to r.readline. Here we don't have to use an integer.parseInt. Why? Say you have to say that because readline method reads the string. Okay, it reads the string only, and that string is being stored in name variable. We don't have to convert to integer because we don't need an integer here. We need only a string. Okay. So now here we are done with the input method. So we are closing the input method. So here we are giving. I am giving a comment entry closing the input method. We have taken all the inputs, all the required inputs except this variable. We have taken all the inputs, byte number, phone number, days and name. Why we didn't take the charge variable? Because the charge we are going to calculate in the next method, right? In the next method, that is the compute method that we will be writing next. So take a screenshot or write the code and we would move over to the next method, the void compute method. Now the void compute method is going to compute the rental charge, that is the charge variable, right? So now we are writing the void compute method. The return type is void, so it's not going to return anything. We have the details input, okay? This phone number, byte number, all things we have already. Now we are going to calculate the charge. Now here we have to use the slab calculation logic. Here also we are going to use the if-else-if ladder. So slab calculation is basically a if-else-if problem, but not that kind of problem that we solved in the last question. So here students face a confusion. So this is a slab calculation question that you are seeing now, because we have the slabs defined. The first 5 days is this much, next 5 days is this much, and that is the rate is being defined in slabs. First this one, next this one. So whenever you are seeing these keywords, the first, the next and above, that is a slab calculation problem. But suppose you have the question that from this to this range, the grade is this much, or the discount is this much, or the income tax rate is this one. These questions are very common, okay, in ICSE board class 10 examination. So if the range specific problems are given, like for this range, this amount of percentage discount, or this amount percentage of income tax, or this is the grade of the student if marks is the input. So those things, if range specific commitments are given in the question, that is only a simple if-else-if problem. But if range is also given and we have this syntaxes or these keywords, like first range is this rate, the next range is this rate. So that is a if-else-if problem and also a slab calculation problem. Okay. So the difference lies in the implementation. So what we have this range as the first 5 days. The first 5 days we have as 500 rupees per day. Okay. So if the days is greater than 0, and then what we have, the first 5 days, so days smaller than equals to 5, if it lies in this range, the days lies in this range, then the charge would be equals to, what would be the charge? 500 rupees per day. So 500 into days, whatever would be the days into 500 would give us the charge, rental charge. Okay. So this is simple. The first slab is always very simple. This calculation is very simple. Now we have to look forward to the next condition. Suppose the number of days my bike is resting in that parking area is 12, or let's say it's 7. This case was when my number of days was suppose 2 or 3. Then it is lying below 5. So directly 2 into 500 would give us the rental charge. How about my days is not 2, my days is 7. Then it is not lying in the 0 to 5 range. Then we have to check whether this days is greater than 5 and to write the next part, you have to look to the question, what is the next slab? Next slab is next 5 days. So we had 0 to 5 here. If we add the next 5, what would be the next upper limit of the range? 5 to 5 plus 5 means 10. Okay. So you have to look to the question and then you have to add that here and you have to write that limit here. So next 5 means 5 plus the previous upper bound. The previous upper bound was 5. So 5 plus 5 is 10. So if now my number of days lies between the range 5 to 10, then my calculation logic would be, for the first 5 days it would be same, right? So for the first 5 days it would be 5 into 500 plus, now my number of days is above 5. So I have to find which number of days, how much number of days is above 5. So for that I have to subtract 5 from the days and multiply with the next rate that is specified in the next slab, that is 400 per day. So into 400. Let me summarize and explain you again. So this was the first slab, we have calculated that. Now the next slab is, suppose my number of days is 7. So 7 lies between 5 and 10, greater than 5, yes, and then smaller than equals to 10, yes. So it is lying in this slab. So this else if would be executed, not this one, not the next ones. In if else if ladder, either if or else if, any one of the else ifs or the else would execute. Only one condition satisfies, then end of the ladder. So for the first 5 days, so this 7 can be truncated into the slabs, the 5 and then 7 minus 5, right? This is the first slab and this is the second slab that we are writing. So according to the first slab, for the first 5 days, the question mentions that the rate was 500 rupees per day. So that's why we did 5 into 500. And for the next slab, that is above 5, for the next 5 days, if our number of days lies between that slab, then that excess amount above 5 would be multiplied with the next rate. So that's why we did days minus 5, then 400. This would be the upper bound of the last slab. Okay, this one what we have to subtract would be the upper bound of the last slab. So here we are done with the next slab also. Now the last we have that above or the rest of the days means above 10, right? 0 to 5 sorted out, 5 to 10 sorted out. We have to now sort out if our number of days lies above 10. How about my number of days is 17? What will happen then? If my number of days is above 7, means above 10, then I have the first 5, yes. I have the next 5 also. 0 to 5 lies, 5 to 10 also lies here. Now the above part, more than 10, how much it is more than 10? How much is remaining? That is 17 minus 10, the upper bound of the previous if else if statement. Okay? So that is how we are going to do. So if and else if is done, now the else part I would do here. So the else part will be after this, go here. I am writing here continued. I am giving here a start. I am writing here. So the next else statement would be, now charge, else means we don't have to mention any condition here. If does not execute, else if does not execute, so else will execute. So the charge would be, for the first 5 it would be 500, for the next 5 it would be 400, and for the remaining, means number of days, minus 10 would be the next rate, whatever it is mentioned in the question. The next rate was 200 rupees per day. So into 200. Okay. So we are completed now. So if sorted out, else if sorted out, and else sorted out. Now the task of the compute method was to do this only. We have calculated the rental charge. We don't have to display it. Okay. We don't have to display it here. for displaying the details, we have another method in the question, that is the display method, right? So close the compute method. So closing the compute method. And also here give some comment entries, then it would be better. Okay, so calculating the rental charge. So make a habit of giving this comment entries, because in the examination, if you don't make habit from now, you won't be able to execute that in the exam. Okay, so make a habit of giving comment entries 1 or 2 in every method. That would be helpful for your exam. So we are done with the compute method. The slab calculation is being done. Now we are left for displaying the details, that we would see the next. But for now, if we have not written this program, so you take a screenshot or write the code, and next we would look over to the void display method. Now the void display method, what it does, it would print the details of the user in the following pattern or the following format: bike number, then after that we have the phone number, then name, then we have number of days, we have charge. So first we have to print the header. So system out.println. First we have the bike number, right? We have the bike number. Then after that we have the phone number. So give some space. We are using by \t. \t gives us 5 consecutive space. So 5 plus 5 or 10 spaces I am giving. Then after that we have phone number. Then after phone number we have the name. Then after name, what we have? We have the number of days. Then after the number of days, we have the charge. So charge is done. So the cursor would print these headings separated by \t. So we would get the bike number, then the phone number, then the name, number of days and charge printed over here. And the cursor would go to the next line, since we are using the println. Println prints the line and goes to the next line. Now in the next line, we have to print the respective details below these headers. So the below bike number, B number, below page number, we would write the phone number, and likewise. So let's print that. System.out.println. So first one is the bike number, so the variable name is B number, plus we have to give equal space that we have here, \t, plus after B number we have the phone number, so we have to print the phone number variable, \t, plus after phone number we have the name, so we have to concatenate the name variable. We are using this plus operator, means it's a concatenation operator. So in println we have to give a full string that we are utilizing with the help of, that we are creating with the help of concatenation operator. So after name, what we have to print? We have to print the number of days. So that is the days variable. And after the days, what we have to print? We have to print the charge, the rental charge that we computed in the compute method, in the last method. So this is the charge. Now we are done with the printing. Give a comment entry here also, displaying the details. Okay, now curly is closed, class is also closed, because we are now completed. Now the question doesn't say that we have to create the class object. We don't have to write the main method and the class. We don't have to create the object. No main method is to be created. It's not mentioned, so we don't have to do. So we are done with the program. Now next, what we would see the implementation in the code. Okay.
Hi students, as the video was going very long, so I thought to break it down. So I am showing the code execution in the next video. You can find that in the playlist page, where I have described the code execution of the descriptive question. Okay, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to get the latest videos and the latest suggestions for your exam. All the best, stay tuned, stay focused.